Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our MISchoolData Backend Administration workshop or session. We are going to be recording this workshop, and we're going to make sure that you have an overview of the technical updates as a backend and technical administrator on the MISchoolData portal. Those of you that are viewing this probably are a representative of your intermediate school district, and you are responsible for updating user accounts, administering user roles, and verifying and handling a lot of help desk requests regarding user accounts on MISchoolData. Our goal for you today, as with this webinar, is to know about the technical updates to the process of creating logins, as well as how to administer accounts. We want you to understand the new process about the MyLogin third party and how that connects to MISchoolData users. We want you to be able to make connections between MISchoolData as well as some other state initiatives out there, because you'll probably be handling technical questions about how does that work with MyKIP, how does it work with the Data Hub, etc. So we want you to see that connection. And then lastly, we want you to be able to transfer the learning into your local level so that you feel comfortable and confident in how you are administering your accounts. On the agenda page, you will notice that in the chat box, we did share out the link, and on the home page, we gave you a tiny URL to this slide deck. In the Train the Trainer folder, there is not only this slide deck, as well as some other resources that we're going to walk through during the broadcast. We are going to dig into some technical updates from the site. You're going to see the redesigned site and how that's going to flow for your users. We'll share you an update with the user cleanup that that happened over the summer with all of our statewide accounts. We'll show you the changes that you need to be aware of for secure users. We'll talk about new roles that have been added, as well as some permissions. And then we'll make connections to the other systems. And then we will show you where you can go to get help after today's broadcast. A reminder that our MISchoolData Train the Trainer network is set up, as well as all of our MISchoolData PD is all set up within regions. We are following the old TRIG regions, which most people are familiar with. If after today's broadcast you have additional questions, comments, or concerns, please reach out to your regional advisory member and ask them for some follow-up. They will have additional information. So first of all, we want to take you into the prod site. We want to show you just a kind of a quick overview so you can be comfortable with what's coming down the pipe here in the next month or so. There are some new items called personas and menus. There's the new dashboard and education focus areas. We'll be looking at some new features like mapping and comparison, and the new Learn professional development resources, and then some major moves that are coming soon. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take us into the site and give you just a quick overview. You'll notice that I am logged in, and we are going to show you guys how to log in and how that connects to that MyLogin third party. But a couple things for you to be aware of, and I'm going to go ahead and blow this up just a little bit. And I'll make this very brief because we're not going to go a deep dive into the new prod site, but we do want you to see what it looks like. So this education, and the dashboard and education focus areas are really what we used to call data stories. They were not part of our legacy site. They are part of our redesign. You'll notice these are some of our most popular digs that are out on the site. A lot of your school improvement folks will spend a lot of time here, your school administrators. This is really kind of a one-stop shop for a 30,000-foot view about your school district. But that's the dashboard and education focus areas. So go ahead and make sure that you have been here and visited, because this is kind of a quick stop for some of our high-end reports. You'll also notice across the top that there are several familiar menus: the early childhood, K-12. There is a new one called student subgroups, which is some of the things that were in K-12 are now located in student subgroups. That is just kind of a shift in the way we've done business in the past, but it's going to be a nice shift because it allows us for a little more subgroup disaggregation. Post-secondary is still familiar to us, workforce, and then here is the administration tab where you guys will spend a lot of your time with your user administration. I'm going to go ahead and leave that, and I'm going to come down here, which is a brand new piece to the redesigned site, which will be a shift in the paradigm for most. If you're an educator or a parent or a policymaker or a media person, based on the persona or the hat that you wear, this is possibly, they've kind of curated resources off the site that speak to your persona. So if I click on the educator persona, it will curate in some widgets of some functionality within the site that really speak to who you are as an educator. And on the converse, if you're a policymaker and a legislator and you're interested in the statistics on the data for your districts in your service area, they have done a really nice job of curating by persona a lot of the information in the portal. So those are two of the big ones. I'm going to come back to the home page and just give you kind of an update. There are a couple features that are coming here. You'll notice that you have the trending and the featured and the connections, kind of like your feed, your RSS feed of some of the hot stuff that's happening. There's a build a table tool that's coming soon and a comparison feature. Some other pieces that I know Helena Rose, who is on our call from CEPI, will be able to share out more additional information if you guys have questions. But the home page is kind of a nice overview of some of the pieces of the MISchoolData portal. The last thing I'll mention in our tour is here across the top, connections is how we're going to access some of our other connections out in the state, other systems. The education map is that functionality of the map feature that we have been enjoying with our current system. The support piece, and I know you will need some help possibly, or need professional development resources, so the support piece, and then obviously your sign out. And one of the best parts that has been added to the redesigned site is our new search feature. So that's kind of a quick rundown of what's happening with the new redesigned site. It's going to go live here in a hot minute, but just to kind of give you a little bit of overview of what the site looks like. So when your folks come back to school and start using it, we will have lots of professional development resources that are coming out that will be there to support you, but that is the redesigned site. As I am moving through, if you guys have questions, you can throw them in the chat box, but in the interest of the fact that we are recording today's broadcast, we are going to keep moving. We want you to understand that there is a coordinated effort between CEPI and Department of Ed with regard to a lot of the state initiatives, including MyKIP, the Michigan Collaborative Data Hub, your local data sets, all of these pieces that are outliers in the data conversation. Those are all being talked about behind the scenes to kind of connect those dots. A couple of resources that are out there for you to use with your local folks. A lot of your users don't understand what goes in a local data warehouse, what would be in the My Data Hub, what's in MISchoolData, and they really aren't really sure what's going to come up into MyKIP. So we are starting with sharing out with you guys. This is a baseline document that Kathy Miller from Shiawassee prepared to kind of get the conversation started about what are these pieces and what do our users need to know about where they go to get what information. Now from Kathy's document, MAISA added to the piece down at the bottom, the MyKIP. So these are a couple of nice handouts that'll be in your folder that you have access to today. So you can share out with your principals or your users so they understand what is in the Data Hub, what is in MISchoolData, what is in the local data warehouse, and what are they going to use in MyKIP, just to kind of help us with vocabulary. So with that said, that's kind of a little bit of an overview. I'm going to pause here for just a second and shout out to Christy or Helena. Are there any questions in the chat box, or Rhonda, that we need to address before I turn it over to Helena to kind of walk us through the secure access?
There was just one question in particular, Jen, requesting the date available for districts, and I just put in by October 1st. I think, you know, we'd hope it'd be sooner, but we know that it will be definitely by October 1st.
Well, definite is in the terms of the definitely maybe. Helena, did you want to address that timeline, or are you ready to rock and roll?
Yeah, I mean, that seems accurate to me. I definitely think that by October 1st, we will have been able to have that preview available for the secure users of MISchoolData. And just so you guys know, and I will be getting into this a little bit later, we're going to be sending you all an email with an invitation when it's time to review the site during preview. So look out for that sometime in early mid-September.
Awesome. Okay, well, I'll hand it over to you, Helena.
Okay. I'm Helena Rose. I'm a senior analyst on the MISchoolData team at CEPI. I was invited to share one of the initiatives that is happening with the redesigned MISchoolData, which is moving secure access from within MISchoolData over to MyLogin for third party. So at CEPI, there's been an initiative to move all of our CEPI applications to a single sign-on stance, and MISchoolData is the last application to be moved over there, and we're coordinating that with the redesign of MISchoolData. So we just wanted to go through that because the login process is going to be different. It's similar, but there's going to be some nuances to it. So we thought going over it would help you guys and also help you help the other users should they have any questions. So this slide speaks to the changes that I kind of already went into. My login for third party will be used to log into the redesigned MISchoolData once the redesign is launched. It is the same system that we've already migrated GAD, REP, SID, and FID over, if you're familiar with those. Those were using MIS prior to the migration. So now all the CEPI applications are accessed through MyLogin for third party. So bringing MISchoolData over will, I think, truly make the one single sign-on system. Okay, so as part of this, so there's like a little over 6,000 users, secure users of MISchoolData. As part of this initiative, we are migrating those secure accounts from the MISchoolData that you know over to the MyLogin accounts. We are anticipating around 80% of these accounts are going to be able to be migrated successfully. Once you are migrated, all of the account information that you had in the current MISchoolData account, including any roles or locations and permissions that you had, will be retained during the migration. So logging into the redesigned MISchoolData should give you all of the same access that you have now. It should be a smooth transition over there. As I said, we're anticipating around 80% of the accounts will be able to be migrated. For those who are not going to be able to be migrated, there's going to be a way for you to still regain your secure access through MyLogin, and we're going to be going into that. So we had communicated out what we were asking users to do was make sure that your email address in your current MISchoolData account matched a MyLogin for third-party account. So any account that we could find using that email, we are transferring all of those roles and permissions and locations and the access over to MyLogin based on the email. And the deadline for that was July 31st this year. If you were not able to meet that deadline, as I said, you will be able to request access through MyLogin for third party as a new user. And so once the redesigned site is launched, the current site will still be available for 2 months. And when you get to the redesigned site, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, and there's a screenshot here showing you, there's going to be a link that you can click on that will take you to the previous MISchoolData page. So if you were not able to be migrated, but you still need to pull a report using secure access, you'll still be able to do that through the old MISchoolData.
So Helen, I just want to repeat what you said, just to clarify. So folks that are on the call, if your users did not respond to the emails where they were asked to create a MyLogin third-party account, that mass email went out to everyone who had an existing MISchoolData account. If they did not add their third-party account, they were not matched, and they're out there kind of floating. And so they will have to start again with going through the process that you're going to describe. They'll have to begin again, just like they don't have a login on MISchoolData.
Yeah, exactly. They'll be treated as a new user if they're not able to be migrated. So as I had mentioned a little bit ago, we are planning a preview release of the redesigned MISchoolData. So we're going to be inviting just secure users to come and take a look. We will be sending direct emails out to all secure users of MISchoolData. So look for this. We're planning on sending these out around early to mid-September. Any of those who were not able to be migrated, you're still going to be invited to come on over and take a look at the redesigned site during this beta version preview window, because the majority of the site really is available, without needing to log in. So we're still hoping that if you're not able to be migrated, we would still like it if you could come over and take a look and just get used to the data, get familiar with the site. Okay, so when it does come time to log in to MISchoolData, if you are a migrated user, in order to figure out if you're not sure what my login ID you're supposed to use, the email invitation that we're going to be sending out is going to provide that user ID to you. So look for that again in early mid-September. There's also another method on the My Login for Third Party homepage. There's a forgot user ID link. So you click that and enter your work email address, and it would send you the user ID that's associated with that email address. You can also contact CEPI customer support, and they're going to have a list of everyone's My Login user ID, and they'll be able to send that on over to you.
So Helena, this is for folks that can't remember their My Login third-party login?
Yeah, these are for people who were migrated, but maybe they either have multiple My Login accounts or they're just not sure of their My Login account. Because the migration process is going to be using matching on these email addresses, in some of the cases, the user didn't even have to take any action for the migration to occur, because if they already had the same email address in both places, they're just automatically going to be migrated. So there could be some people out there that actually weren't even aware of this initiative and they didn't really take any action to make this happen, but they're going to be migrated anyway. So we were thinking there could be some cases where people just aren't sure what their My Login ID is.
And another point of clarification for folks on this call today, at the beginning of the promotion about this, it was you have to get a My Login account. You have to get a My Login account. And folks went out and created My Login accounts, whereas this is a My Login for third party. So if you have a My Login account, it may be on the DNR, campground reservation site, or fishing license. Whereas this is specific to third-party users. This is specific to us with MISchoolData and other state programs. So please make sure that if you get questions about My Login, make sure that it's a My Login third-party login that they are trying to reset or trying to locate. That's the key to the kingdom.
Yeah, that does seem like it could be a point of confusion. The other My Login account that users could be using is called My Login for Citizens. So yeah, just check to make sure that they're not actually using that. So for a migrated user, we're going to go through the login process the first time around. So what they would do is they would click the sign in button. It's going to be at the top right of the redesigned MISchoolData site. And then they would click the My Login third party button. This is going to take them to the My Login login screen, My Login for third party login screen. They log in, and My Login has a multi-factor authentication process. So the first time that you log in for the day, you'd be asked to do this. So this is usually they send a code to your email, or they text you a code. However it is that the user set up their account for this, it would be sent to that.
I'm just going to give you a warning, Will Robinson. Folks on the call, they are going to have to authenticate every time they log in for the day, a single time for that day. So people want to make sure they have their phones with them or whatever, because there's that two-party authentication, and that until we get the shift in the paradigm and the thinking here, folks need to know that they will have to authenticate every day that they log in.
Okay, so once you do log in, you'd be taken back to MISchoolData. So for the migrated users, they're going to see a message saying your access is pending email verification. So as part of the migration process, we did build in this verification email. So the very first time a migrated user logs in, they're going to get an email sent to their email address. And below that screenshot, you'll see an example of what that's going to say. It's going to come from SEPI, and it's going to contain a link. And we're asking users to click that link to verify their email. And again, this is just the very first time a migrated user logs in. This isn't every time they log in, just the first time.
So from a technical end perspective, Helena, our folks on the call today could be getting messages like, I created my third-party login and I should be able to log in. It's not letting me. It's probably because they have not verified their account and they should check their email, correct?
Correct. I mean, that would definitely be something to ask them. You could ask them too, like, are you seeing that your access is pending email verification message on the MISchoolData screen too? So that would clue them in as well, that that link still needs to be clicked on. So after you do click the link within your email, you'll be taken back to MISchoolData again. At that point, you need to log in. So you click on the sign in button and then on the My Login third party button again. And then that's it. You don't have to go back to My Login. You don't have to re-log in or anything. You're already in. And you can tell that you're logged in because the sign in button turns into a sign out button.
I'm going to pause here. Are there any questions so far out in the chat box, or anyone that has any direct questions about how that process works? If you want to throw them in the chat box.
I just want to reiterate that because this is Christy Martin, because MISchoolData is now going to be under the state's single sign-on for my login for third party, these security measures are stringent and they're there to protect our students. And I know at first it'll be a little bit confusing to folks, but it isn't anything different than they do for their banking accounts and such right now. So we are moving into the state single sign-on, so it's understandable that the security measures would be greater.
There is a question in the chat regarding new staff and needing an account. The question is, should they wait until October and then set up the login for the new account?
Want to take that?
I think that, yes, I think that it would make sense to wait until the redesign, or the preview period of the redesigned MISchoolData has ended, because at that point we will be enabling any new user to request access through My Login. During the preview period, you're not going to be able to go through that process, which we're going to be showing you in a little bit. So I guess it depends on the situation. If the person needs access right away, you do still have the option of still, creating their account in the old MISchoolData, just the same way that you would before, just if they need immediate access or something. But then once the preview period is over and new users are able to request accounts through My Login, they would have to just go through that process there. And you'd have to set up their account again in the redesigned MISchoolData.
And let's be clear too, if they need access to the legacy site, the old site, what we call the old site is a legacy site, adding them as a user there will not bring them into the new site. They have missed that window. That was July 31st. That was the cutoff. So they still would need to do the process of creating a My Login third-party account and the new process.
Right.
Also, the FERPA forms, the account request forms, those could be filled out ahead of time. So if someone wanted to have a stack of those so that when it was ready to go in and you know, authenticate that user, you could do that ahead of time, because that paperwork will now still be required for all of those users, the ones that were not migrated as well as the new users.
Mm-hmm. There's another question too from Kathy Berry. It says, so will the public also be able to preview the new MySchoolData site? Technically, the public will be able to view the site using the link that we send out. However, this is, during the preview window, this is still a beta version of the site. We're going to be having beta version language on the site. We're still going to be kind of working through some kinks. We're wanting feedback from you guys. It's not really quite ready for its public debut. So we're not encouraging anyone to really start sharing this out with the public until it's actually launched to the public during this preview period. All right. I think that may be it for the questions for now.
The last question there is login set up similar to the old process for the ISDs? And we'll be going through what those screens look like. And I think you'll be happy with what you see, because it looks pretty much exactly the same. In the future, there may be some updates just from an organization of the screen standpoint, but all the same options will be available to us. And I'm really excited about that part, because we don't have a big jump of training for ourselves.
All right, awesome. I guess I will keep going now unless anyone had any other questions. Okay, so this part of the presentation, we're going to go over what the account request process will be for new users. This slide is a summary of the process. So what they're going to need is they're going to need a MyLogin for third-party account. They're going to need to subscribe to MySchoolData. They're going to need to click on the MySchoolData link within MyLogin once they've subscribed. And then they need to complete and submit the security form, the FERPA security form signed by their lead administrator as listed in the EM. Access can be granted when all of these steps have been completed.
And we will go in and make an edit on this so it says the MyLogin third-party account, just for clarification.
Okay, so the request process for new users. Again, it could be possible that a user has a MyLogin for third-party account already and they just maybe don't realize it. So a good way to test for that is just, again, click on that forgot your user ID link near the bottom left underneath the fields to log in on the MyLogin for third-party homepage. If you enter your email address, if you have a MyLogin for third-party ID, it would be emailed to you.
And that is linking to a school email address.
Right. If you don't have a MyLogin for third-party account, you can click sign up, that sign up button on the homepage of MyLogin for third-party. So this is kind of going through what the login process or the request process would be for a brand new user. So once you do log in once you click the sign up button, you're going to see this create your account page where you'd be entering all of your information in all of these fields here and answer this verification question. You create your user ID and password following the guidelines on the right side of the page. So that's going to be your last name, first initial, and 4 digits. You select your security options and then click create account. If you run into any issues during the account creation process, you can contact the CEPI help desk at cepi@michigan.gov. Once you receive confirmation, you'll be able to log in to MyLogin for third party. So then you log in. So now we've created the account and now we've logged in. So you click the request access tab. It's kind of toward the middle, top middle of the screen. You can search for MISchoolData manually in that search box with the magnifying glass, or you can find the Center for Educational Performance and Information in the drop-down on the right to view all the applications that are listed under CEPI. So you'd find the MISchoolData hyperlink, click on it, the review or the terms and conditions will pop up. So just review that and then click request access.
I want to pause for a second because folks on the call, when we were doing this throughout the summer, having our people create MyLogin third-party accounts, one of the problems was they would drop down the CEPI box here and there was no MISchoolData listed underneath it because it wasn't listed yet. So many of our folks went in and clicked MSDS or EEM or picked from what was there to ask for access. That is not correct. That gave them several email messages of errors, and they may have made their way to your help desk. What Helena has spearheaded here is adding underneath the CEPI dropdown the option for MISchoolData, so folks know with their MyLogin third party, they may have several apps, but they need to ask for the MISchoolData one if this is a new request. The other,
right.
Those folks that we matched are already connected.
Correct, but just to clarify also, again, to reiterate, that link is not there yet. So if you have anybody who isn't going to be migrated or if they're trying to create an account through MyLogin now, if they are searching for that link, it's not going to be there yet. It'll be there once the site has gone public.
So I just want to also tell the group, because of the folks we have on this particular session, we did have folks that were so excited that they were going in to create this and they wanted to do it right and choose an application. We may get some support calls that say, well, I already did this and CEPI denied my request. And it was because they chose another application that was not MISchoolData, because quite frankly, MISchoolData isn't there yet. So we will have some confusion potentially out in the field. We've been taking quite a few calls and emails on that. I just wanted to alert you, since we are talking about this and under full disclosure, it's just not quite there yet. It will be, and we'll show you, what that looks like. But currently, they cannot choose it. Only the migrated users automatically had it assigned to them behind the scenes.
Right, and even actually right now, even the migrated users won't see that in there quite yet. And during the preview period, it'll show up, but it's not going to be there quite yet. Okay, so you will be prompted to provide a little bit more additional information. You click submit, and then you get a confirmation message both on the screen and through your email stating that your subscription was submitted successfully. One more key thing about MISchoolData, and this makes it a little bit different from the other CEPI application subscription process. Once you've done these steps, you need to go back to your homepage and click on the link under your list of applications that you've subscribed to. So in this screenshot, you can see it just says MISchoolData. So you need to click on that link. That activates your subscription. That activates sending your account information from MyLogin over to MISchoolData. So when you click on that, you'll be taken to MISchoolData and you'll see this message. Your account is pending approval by the system administrator. So once that happens, now the user's account is going to show up in MISchoolData. Without clicking on that link, it's not going to be in the manage users table. So that could be another point where people are getting confused or wondering what the delay could be, if they have gone through the subscription process, but they did not click on that link and be taken to MISchoolData to see that message, that means that their account has not actually come on over from my login to MISchoolData.
Helen, I think it's important to mention for the folks on the call, you guys are technical administrators and we know you juggle a lot of help desk tickets, you handle a lot of user requests. We know that this is going to be a shift in the way we've done business. All the authentications have been critical to the security of the site. Those that have ever requested a BAA login know how seriously the state takes data privacy and data security for our students. So it's going to be a little bit of a shift for folks, but it's definitely an improvement in the process to make sure that our data is safe.
Do we want to address questions in the chat?
Sure, go ahead.
All right, the first question is from Cindy. Is the login setup similar to the old process for ISDs?
So you know what, maybe we will hold the questions because he's going to get into a demo of what it looks like. So maybe that will probably clear up some of the questions.
Okay. We'll go
apologize, Cindy. We want to get to what Christy's going to share out so you guys will see kind of what the connection is.
Okay.
Go ahead and
finish.
We'll shift it to Christy to do the demo.
Okay. So once the user has clicked on MISchoolData within my login, and their account is now appearing in MISchoolData, they will need to obtain that FERPA security form and fill that out, get that signed by the lead administrator and the EEM. And we're just advising all the users to contact their ISD contact for assistance getting their account activated. So once they send that form over to the ISD administrators, you guys would be able to go into the manage users table, find their account, you'll see their My Login ID, and you'll be able to set them up.
So using this form is not a shift in the way we've done business in the past. All our ISDs are expected to have these on file for every active user in their system.
So once the ISD administrator has confirmed the user's access, they can click on the sign in button, click on the My Login third party button. They may need to log into My Login for third party again. It just depends on if they've already logged in for the day or not. Just again, the whole idea of single sign on. And then they are now logged into MISchoolData and the sign in button has changed to a sign out.
The process of approving users for the ISD technical contacts. You want to speak to that, Helena?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
So the system administrator approval process, is that our ISD technical contacts approving their
right, exactly, yes.
And that comes in the form of an email from CEPI to the technical contact listed at the ISD, and they will do what?
No, so the communication is really just between the user and the ISD contact. So they subscribe through My Login, they send their FERPA form over to the ISD contact. The ISD contact sets them up and then communicates back with the user that, okay, you're set up now, you should have access.
Similar to how we've rolled in the past.
Right, exactly. So for help, there's two different avenues that we're suggesting people reach out to depending on the types of questions or issues that they run into during this process. If there's any questions or problems related to My Login for third party, reactivation of accounts, user ID or password recovery that they can't resolve by using the links on the login screen, or for general My Login issues or problems, we want everyone to contact the CEPI help desk at cepi@michigan.gov. If there's any questions about obtaining security forms, inquiring about the status of a subscription request, or modifying account access, we're going to be directing everyone over to their ISD contact.
Can you talk a little bit about expectations for how quick the turnaround time is for responses for help?
Well, the CEPI help desk has a 1 business day response expectation. So if anyone contacts the CEPI help desk, they should be getting a response within 1 business day. And they're usually actually really, really fast to respond. And right now we're advising everyone to please use the email address rather than the phone number for CEPI, because we're all working from home right now. And email is just much faster. It's a much better way to get a faster response right now than phone. Under the support button at the top right of the My Login screen, you're going to see a help and support link. So clicking that will take you to the help and support page, where there's going to be like a My Login user guide. There's going to be frequently asked questions help document for My Login. And then also under the Manage Users page, you're going to see the user administration manual, FERPA resources, and the student privacy policy. Once the preview period begins, the old or legacy MySchoolData site will be accessed at legacy.mysschooldata.org, or again, that link will be all the way at the bottom of the redesigned homepage. In order to access that, you just use your current secure credentials. So the username and the password that you use right now for MySchoolData will still work when the legacy site's available. And once the site is launched, once the redesigned site is launched to the public, the URL will be myschooldata.org. And to log in, you'll use these My Login credentials.
All right, I'm going to pause. We are going to shift gears here. Thank you, Helena, for providing us with the overview of the account creation, those that did not have their accounts matched, those that are going to have new accounts created, that we are still following the FERPA process. We're going to continue to, I'm going to hand it over to Christy, who is going to talk about the matching process as well as what it looks like now to actually go into the system and create a user. Christy, take it away.
Great. Hey, thanks everybody. We're very, very happy with the support that we received across the state. Tim Davis and I and Helena from CEPI spent a tremendous amount of time contacting people to let them know that the My Login for third-party account needed to be created, that we didn't quite have a match. What we needed to have was a match between the email that was stored in the MySchoolData system from their user account. We needed that email to match the email address that the person used to set up their My Login for third-party account. If that was a match, then we would be able to, we knew that it was a match, and they would show up in a special matching program that we had in an Excel spreadsheet. And that way we could contact the folks that were not matched yet with progressively urgent emails. So I apologize if some of you were on my list of multiple contacts, but some folks we did have to have CEPI's help to resolve as well. The majority of these issues were because the domain name for the email address had changed over time. People moved away from I don't know, utica.k12.mi.us as an email address ending to be uticak12.org, for instance. So we spent quite a bit of time in the system also modifying the last part of a domain name address to help the work for the ISDs and such as well for user administration. So Jen, if you could open up one of the spreadsheets, what we've done is gone through and made a sheet for every ISD. And if you'd open up even Macomb or maybe Lenawee stands here. And within Lenawee, I have spreadsheets that would show all of the people that already do have a matching MySchoolData login to the My Login for Third Party. And then the second tab of this spreadsheet on the bottom there are the folks that did not have a match, okay? So this is one of the places that we started. There's a variety of reasons for these people to not have a match. They might not work in the districts that are within Lenawee anymore. They could be retired. There's so many different situations, as well as the email address being incorrect. So we ended up sending email to all of these people individually multiple times saying the time is near. We have this deadline, and we extended it. Actually, SEPI was so wonderful and gracious to extend it from July 31st really well, excuse me, well into August. So we were able to even match more.
So this gives us a list of those that did what they were supposed to do and got a MyLogin third-party account. Maybe they came to a school improvement workshop or something or they responded to the emails that were sent out. This is your list by ISD of those that were matched. The ones that you guys on the call may hear from are going to be the ones that were not matched because they did not respond to the email. This is kind of a little bit of a heads up. And I know that Stan is on the call. Stan actually took it a step further. And I'm going to go back to this user cleanup. Stan's ISD requested these sheets by district. And Christy, do you want to talk about how the district and maybe these folks are going to want to request the by district reporting?
Yes, absolutely. So in Stan's region and in the Green region, they requested a by district listing so that they could reach out to the lead folks at each district to obtain input on, do these folks need to have logins? And if they do, here's what the process is now that we have not had a match. So if we opened up to Tecumseh, and they might, I don't know if they even have any that are not matched. If we open up Tecumseh, it'll actually tell who the people are that have a MyLogin access and what their MyLogin for third party email is, or MyLogin for third party user ID, etc. So this will help us quite a bit in knowing what those user administration responsibilities may be.
So Christy, would you say that it would be helpful for every technical administrator to request this set of files for their ISD so they would know who has an ID, who has a MyLogin third-party account and what it is? That would give them the list of all the users. That way they could verify against this list when folks are saying, I don't know what's wrong.
We think that this would be a great tool for that. We'll be posting each of the ISD lists on the Google Drive so that they can go and look up their own. I know Tim has done just a tremendous amount of outreach. I think Tim's on the call too. Tremendous amount of outreach to each region and ISDs to alert them through this process. But now we're in the end of it and going, okay, so we have the migration. Who are the folks that are kind of in purgatory? And we hear from a lot of them, hey, I don't need my account anymore. But there's also a fair amount that you all know, and I do too, that are going to call us at the last minute and wonder why they can't get in. So we're trying our utmost to provide tools that will help describe what the situation is for each ISD, each region, each ISD, and each district for their users. And we've made quite a bit of headway being able to single down all the way to an individual user. So we can do this for every region and ISD.
Christy, is this something that you want them to, how do you want the request to come in, or are we telling them that we are going to have those available? What, this on a request basis?
We will have them available. We will have them available, but if you would like yours sooner, like Lenawee wanted theirs right away. The green region in general said, hey, you know what, we're on this. We want to be able to contact people right now. Please, can you please run ours? And I was able to run it that day. So if that's something that, you have an initiative in your district, you have a meeting coming up please let me know and I can run yours right away. But we're working through 55 ISDs at this point, running those sheets. So I would expect it to be done by the end of next week. But if you need yours sooner because of different meetings, we'd be happy to oblige. Sure appreciate the help. I really do.
So maybe Rhonda can throw your email in the chat. I know you're going to keep moving here. We've got about 10 minutes left.
Okay.
Go ahead and shift gears here to the logon permissions that you were going to talk them through.
Oh, am I going live?
Do you want to go live?
I can. I think it might be helpful for them to see it, but we can stay with this PowerPoint. If we have time, I guess I'll go live. All right. Hold on.
Do you want me to stop the share and you want to go ahead and go live?
Yes. Why don't we do that, please?
All right. I will stop the share.
And I will go ahead and share. No, I don't want to stop the cloud recording. Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
I think so. I've logged in through the MyLogin for third party. I did my multi-factor authentication, and then the MySchoolData page opened up here. It was exactly the same as what Jen showed a little bit earlier and Helena. Our spot for this particular session is the admin button. When I press the admin button, you can see that not everything is populating, so we are still in kind of a beta type of mode. Administration and manage users. A screen displays, it looks an awful lot like the one that we already have right now. It's a little cleaner, and I had done a search earlier with Stan Masters and had put in his name, but I can certainly put in, did I spell that wrong?
That's correct.
So I can search for individual users. And in this case, I'll walk through what that individual user looks like. So click on the username or really anything in blue. And the system will display for editing the user profile. And in moving down the user profile, there's this little box right here where my cursor is that says signed authorization. This box is automatically checked for migrated users. CEPI had an extra step that they did for us, which I'm so appreciative of, because we would have had to go in and mark all the people that migrated. And if you recall, there were over 4,000 of those. So that's been automatically done for the people that are migrated. For new users, this signed authorization means that you've received their FERPA or HIPAA forms from them for their account requests that are signed, and that's in your possession. So that gets checked. Then I can add roles, remove all roles, or add permissions. In this case, I'm going to choose permissions. And this looks a lot like our current administration as well. So I can see their location that they have, districts, schools, and what their role is right now. In addition, I can go through and edit any of these user permissions. Access will end up eventually going into a section that is CEPI only. ISDs, we should not be allowing restricted access. That's not our button to choose, although I can choose it right now. We went through and no one had chosen that for anybody, so I was very happy about that. So some of these, all the permissions will be put into groupings so that the CEPI permissions will be in one spot, accountability will be in another. It just changes the list a little and puts some headings. No big deal. But in this, we'll have the same thing we have right now, where there are automatic permissions that are assigned to people, and then there's the ones that we can edit and change. And as I scroll down, it looks, basically the same as what we had before. There is one box I'd like to draw your attention to, and it's a train the trainer. We have a new permission in the system for train the trainer. And by turning that on, the person will be able to access all of our Train the Trainer materials and the over 100 classes that have been put into our Train the Trainer materials in the Google Doc system. So that one's a new one, and we'll be going through and marking those for our Train the Trainers. If I needed to add a role to somebody, I can add a role, I can add a location, and it looks the same as what we had before, only it operates a lot quicker. So I say, all right, well, I won't really save this. So I chose Berrien, and then the districts come up just like before, and then I can choose the role just like before, okay? So I'm gonna cancel because I don't wanna add Rhonda to Berrien. And that's my user profile. I have a little back button here for back to manage users. This back button will take me back to that manage user area. If I had pressed on the MISchoolData logo up here, I will go all the way back and it will go out of managed users. So it's always my home base. And then I can come back into admin, choose my administration and manage users, and I'm back to my area. So it functions very, very similarly to what we've had in the past. With this right now, the managed users that are in the system are all of the folks that were part of a preview. So when you go in, you'll see folks that were part of a preview. All the users are not populated here yet. One of the pieces that I really liked about this system is all the filters are right here and in front of me. So I can go through and filter differently for what I'm looking for. Usually I'm going to want to deal with all active users. So that's where I'm going to want my filters to stay, and the page will refresh for me. The other thing that I can do is search for domain names. You've heard me earlier say, I was looking for a domain name for @KRESA, okay? And the system then would bring back to me just the people that were at KRESA. That was very helpful in determining when a district had changed the domain of their email addresses and needing to go in and edit them. The activate, deactivate button is here for folks that you have. We did have a question in the chat about if we can edit users or deactivate or activate them. If you know they're retired and they're no longer working with us, and please deactivate them. That would be very helpful, as well as if we have folks that have moved locations, we'll need to, need to be able to take those locations off of that particular user.
Christy, it's the expectation that all of our technical administrators annually review their user accounts, correct?
Yes, absolutely. That should be happening annually, and the districts can certainly help with that by generating a list like I just did with the download, and that downloaded file will be able to be accessed and has a lot of other information in it. And mine is going evidently underneath the Zoom, but it turns into a Excel spreadsheet, and it has a lot of other information in it, like building number, building name, district number, district name, ISD number, ISD name. We have not had all of that in the past, so I'm very happy to have that at our fingertips. Our user administration manual will be updated to reflect the different capabilities that we have, the FERPA resources and forms. We'll also have our forms for the FERPA. I believe that was also a question in the chat. Right now, those are located in the trainer materials, but they will be right here. So that they'll be ready to be used for our account administrators. Finally, the Protecting Student Privacy in U.S. Department of Education. There will be some information under that link as well, and that will be a help just to have that right at our fingertips.
Christy, and as a reminder, it is the expectation of CEPI that each ISD maintains those FERPA forms for their stakeholders on site.
Yes, absolutely. They should be on site, and I'm going to stop sharing here. the managed users is very straightforward. We are looking to have, you'll notice that there's no add button here. That is a change. There's no add button here. And the reason there's no add button here is because they need to come in from a MILogin for third-party system. And we will be able to then search for the user first and then be able to add the permissions and such to that user's capabilities within the MISchoolData system. So I'm going to stop share here. We have a question in the chat about, can the FERPA forms be digitally stored if scanned into our document management system? Yes, they can be. They're just, it is up to each ISD to store those authorized forms for their local districts. Are there any other questions for me, or do I need to go into some other areas? I know that was very quick, but it looks so much like the previous system. And once we have the MILogin, for third-party piece, that'll be evident right there on the screen what we have. We're really just editing the users that have been given permission.
So I know that we are out of time. I just wanted to let you know we will be stopping the recording, and thank you for joining us. We'll stay on for a few minutes just to answer some technical questions, but we hope that you found this overview valuable with regard to your technical administration of users on MISchoolData and the connections with the MILogin third party.
Helena, is there anything that you would like to add to what I covered?